Hi, my loves. Welcome back to my channel, Bookalicious. I am so excited about this month's TBR. I cannot believe that we're even in July already. It's crazy, but I'm so excited about this month's TBR. I've picked some really fun books that I'm so excited to get to, and I just think this is going to be a really great reading month. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Prompt number one is a book that is a 6-star prediction, and I knew immediately that I was going to pick Gleam by Raven Kennedy. This is book 3 in the Plated Prisoner series. I am obsessed with this entire series. I am so obsessed. Every single book in this series, granted that I've only read 2 books, in the series, but still, both of those books were 6-star reads for me. So I, of course, definitely think that this is going to be another 6-star read. And by the time I'm filming this video, I'm already like halfway through this book. And I can pretty much say with confidence that this is definitely going to likely be a 6-star read. And I can't tell you too much about this series because this is book 3, and I definitely don't want to spoil it because this series is very interesting. It seems like it's going in one direction and then it goes into a completely different direction, if that makes any sense. But you're basically following our main character named Orin. She is gold touched. Her body is entirely golden, and she is seen as more of a possession than an actual person. And so you're kind of following her journey of self-discovery, and it's just a really amazing fantasy series. It's not complicated, there's no heavy world building, and it's just a very beautiful and easy writing style that I love so much. And I love the main character with all my heart. She's one of my favorite characters ever. And there's also a really great little romance subplot, which is just everything to me at this point. Like, I am obsessed with that romance in this book. So very, very excited to finish this book soon, and I love this series so much. Prompt number 2 is a book that's on my physical TBR, and I decided to go with Nightbane by Alex Astor for this prompt. And I really loved Lightlark, which is the first book in this series. Lightlark is basically about 6 different rulers from different realms, and they all have to take part in this deadly competition on an island that only appears once, like every single year or something like that. And they all have to try and compete in this deadly competition to break their realm's curse. And the premise is just really unique, and I really enjoyed the main character, and I loved the drama and the romance that was going on in the first book. And so I'm very excited to pick up Nightbane. And the reason why it's taken me so long to read Nightbane, because I read Lightlark ages ago, like in September last year, but I was waiting for Nightbane to go into paperback edition because I have Lightlark in paperback, and it was just taking so long. So I finally caved and just got the hardcover of Nightbane. I do prefer paperback covers, but thankfully there's not too much of a big height difference between Nightbane and Lightlark, but still I would have preferred to have it in paperback. But I really loved Lightlark so much, and I'm so excited to hop back in with these characters and see what happens next. Prompt number 3 is a book by Frida McFadden. I just read a bunch of her thrillers last month, but I'm still so excited to read this one because this is the 3rd book in the Housemaid series, which I love that series so much. The first 2 books really made me fall in love with thrillers, and I am curious if this is the last book in the Housemaid series because I adore the main character, but I don't want the series to go on and on and on until it's not good anymore. And yeah, I'm a little bit worried about that. So hopefully this is the conclusion to that series, but I love it so much. And the main character, Millie, is so much fun to read about. She's so strong and so smart, and I always feel very safe with her because she's just so clever and she knows how to handle herself. And I'm very excited to see what type of mystery mystery is going to happen in this book. And I think it has a little bit of a time jump from the last book as well. So that's going to be really fun to see what happens. Prompt number 4 is a Kindle Unlimited book, and I am so excited for this book. I've been wanting to read this for months, and now I finally can. I've chosen The Deal by Elle Kennedy, and this book just seems so up my alley. I believe that it is the fake dating trope. I think the main character wants to get the attention of another guy on the college campus, and she ends up striking a deal with this super popular guy named Garrett because he needs help with tutoring for school assignments. So she's going to help him with that, and then they're going to fake date in public so that she can get the attention of the guy that she has a crush on. But of course, real feelings start to develop between them in their fake relationship. And I love fake dating. My favorite trope ever is enemies to lovers, but fake dating is probably like my second favorite trope. There's just something so giddy and amazing about that trope and just so romantic. I love it so much, and I'm very, very excited to read this book. And I just think it's going to be a really fun, cute little rom-com, and I'm just so excited to get into the off-campus series. So very, very high hopes for this book. Prompt number 5 is an enemies to lovers book, my favorite trope, but just as I was saying, this trope is top tier, and I was debating on whether to choose a fantasy book for this trope because enemies to lovers in fantasy books is just always amazing. But I decided to go with a mafia romance. I decided to go a little bit out of my comfort zone. I've never read a mafia romance, never. So this is going to be really interesting. This is Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark, and this book really intimidates me because I know that it's going to be so different than the cutesy little rom-coms that I'm typically used to reading about. But from what I can gather, this is supposed to be an arranged enemies to lovers book between Callum and Ada, and they are both involved in mafia families, and their families have kind of had this feud going on for a while, and they believe that this arranged marriage between their families is the only way to keep the peace. And it sounds really interesting, and I love arranged marriage combined with enemies to lovers. I think that's such a great combination, and I am hoping that I will be able to enjoy this book because this is the first book in a series, and if I like this book, then I will definitely continue with the rest of the series. So totally out of my comfort zone, but you know, who knows? This could be a 5-star read for me. Who knows? Prompt number 6 is an anticipated book on my TBR, and I decided to go with Survive the Night by Riley Sager. This isn't a new book or anything, but it is a book that I am very excited to get to. I read The House Across the Lake. I believe I read that book in May, and I absolutely loved that book so much. It was 5-star read, and I think his writing style and the way that he builds tension in a book is just so clever. I absolutely love his writing so much. And this book is really popular. I think it might even be a little bit more popular than The House Across the Lake. And the premise of this book is that it's about this girl, and she is getting a ride share with this guy that she doesn't know. And there's also been a lot of rumors going on about this killer on the college campus. And as the ride starts to go on, she thinks that he could be potentially the killer, and she needs to try and escape if that's true, if he is the killer. And it just seems like a really creepy plot, and it seems like a book that's going to keep me on the edge of my seat. And I love books like this where it's like you're confined in like a close proximity with someone who could be a killer. Like it just seems like it's going to have me so scared and nervous. And I love to feel that way when I'm reading creepy books. So I'm very excited to get to this book in July. Prompt number 7 is a yellow book, and this is such a fun prompt, and I know that this cover is a little bit orangey-ish, But anyways, I decided to pick The 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I had a couple other options. I was debating between this one, The Bodyguard, and Love Theoretically, but I decided to go with this one because everyone and their mother has read this book, and I have major FOMO. And all I know about this book is that it's about this publicist who ends up moving into this apartment, and she has a roommate, and the only issue is that he apparently lives 7 years in her past, and she's 7 years into the future. So there's that kind of weird thing. And then they also have this budding romance happening between them as well. So it's a rom com with like magical realism. And I think that's this author's trademark because she wrote The Dead Romantics, which has like a plot line between an author and a ghost. So I think that's kind of like her thing to do, is write these cute little rom-coms with these magical subplots as well. And it just seems like a really fun, interesting, unique premise for a romance book. And I know a lot of people say that the writing style is just so beautiful and so poetic, and that the romance is really wholesome and sweet. I know that Haley Pham really loves this book, and I trust her recommendations so much. And I'm really excited to get to this book in July. Prompt 8 is a book that's under 400 pages, which is a prompt that I am so happy to have this month. And I decided to go with Beastly Beauty by Jennifer Donnelly. This book is about 350 something pages, so it's perfect for this prompt. And I love Jennifer Donnelly's books so much. She is so underrated as an author. She wrote Poisoned and Stepsister, and she does a lot of fun fairy tale retellings, and I absolutely love her writing style. And yeah, please go read all of her books if you love wholesome, cute YA fantasy books, because she is so good at writing those. And this is her newest release. This came out a couple months ago, and it is obviously a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and it is actually a bit unique because the girl is the one who is the beast in this version of the story, and the guy is the beautiful one, and he has to try and save her and help her break this curse. So I love that unique little plot line. I think that's going to be really fun to read about. And it's been a while since I've read one of Jennifer Donnelly's books, so I'm so excited to get back into her writing style. And I have very high hopes for this one, and I think it's going to be probably a 5-star read. Prompt number 9 is a book in a trilogy, and I decided to pick Twin Crowns, which is a cute little YA fantasy romance book. And I've heard really good things about this series, and I'm very excited to start it. And from what I can understand, it is basically about these twin princesses who have lived very separate lives. One of the princesses has been raised to kind of take over the crown one day, and then the other one was taken as an infant and has been raised to kidnap her sister when the time comes and to steal the crown. And so it sounds very dramatic. It sounds like there's going to be a lot of tension and high stakes going on. And I don't know a bunch about this book, but I kind of like that. I like the idea that I'm going to be going in kind of blind, that I'm not going to know a bunch about the characters already. So I'm very excited to see if I enjoy this series. Prompt number 10 is a book with Faye, and this is the last prompt of the month. And I decided to go with Heart of the Raven Prince by Dasanja Odette. I'm praying I said her name right. And this is book 2 in the Entangled with Faye series. I absolutely loved the first book, Curse of the Wolf King, which I read a few months ago, and I absolutely loved that book. And I'm very excited to be able to continue on with this series. This book has a Cinderella retelling happening, and it is about the prince trying to find himself a wife, and he's supposed to be searching for a wife who is supposed to be eligible and high in society, and he ends up falling for a maid. And I just love a good Cinderella retelling, and I'm very excited to get to this book. I think that fairy tale retellings are so much fun, especially when they have plot twists, and this is a book about Fae, and it just seems really great. And I know a lot of people really do enjoy this book and this series so much, and I'm very excited to see if I enjoy the romance in this book, and I think it's going to be a really fun time. Thank you all so much for watching this video. It means so much to me, and I'm very excited about this TBR. Please let me know in the comments what books you want to read in July, and let me know what your favorite book was that you read in June as well, and let me know if there's any other book video ideas that you want to see from me in the month of July. And please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It helps me out so much, and I love you all to the moon and back, and I hope that you all have very happy reading ahead of you. I love you so much, and I'll see you in another video very soon.